In the world of sports, we often celebrate moments of victory, but some of the most powerful stories are about what happens after the game is over. This is the story of Travis Roy, a gifted young hockey player who achieved his lifelong dream of playing for Boston University. His career on the ice lasted only 11 seconds, but the legacy he built over the next 25 years, a legacy of courage, grace, and helping others, is a story that teaches us all about the true meaning of a successful life. To truly grasp the story of Travis Roy, you have to understand the soil in which his dreams were planted. Yarmouth, Maine, in the 1980s. This is New England, a corner of America where ice hockey is less a sport and more a religion. It's a culture born on frozen ponds and backyard rinks, where the scrape of skates on ice is the official soundtrack of winter. Here, the dream of playing big-time college hockey is a sacred inheritance, passed down from father to son. For a young Travis Roy, born in 1975, this world was everything. His father, Lee, a passionate hockey enthusiast himself, was his first coach. Every winter, Lee would painstakingly build a rink in their backyard. Layer by layer, night after night in the bone-chilling Maine cold, he would flood the yard with water until a perfect sheet of ice formed. This backyard rink was Travis's first cathedral. It was there, under the cold, clear sky, that a lifelong passion was ignited. Travis wasn't just a kid who played hockey. He was consumed by it. He was a true student of the game. He lived it, he breathed it. While other kids were inside, he was out on the ice, skating drills until his legs burned, stick handling for hours until the puck felt like an extension of his own body. The goal was never just to be good, it was to be great. The dream was specific, to one day play in the Beanpot, Boston's legendary college hockey tournament, to play for a Division I powerhouse. This relentless, single-minded drive defined his youth. It led him to Tabor Academy and then to North Yarmouth Academy, prestigious prep schools known for molding promising young athletes into elite college prospects. On the ice, he wasn't always the most naturally gifted player. There were others with faster feet or quicker hands. But absolutely no one outworked him. His coaches all spoke of the same thing: a quiet, intense determination, a willingness to do the unglamorous work. He was the first one in the weight room before dawn, the last one off the ice after practice, skating patterns into the freshly cut ice long after the arena lights had dimmed. This was the foundation of his success. It wasn't flash. It was pure, unadulterated grit. And that grit paid off. College scouts took notice. He received multiple offers, but there was only one he ever wanted. He earned a scholarship to his dream school, Boston University. BU's head coach at the time was Jack Parker, a living legend known for his toughness and his keen eye for talent. He had seen hundreds of talented young players come and go. For him, skills could be taught. But there was one thing that could not be taught: character. And that's what he saw in Travis Roy. Travis wasn't the fastest or the most skillful player I've ever seen, Parker later recalled. But he was the hardest worker. He had a fire in him, a determination that never went out. When you build a team, you're not just looking for talent, you're looking for building blocks. Travis was that building block. For Jack Parker, offering Travis a scholarship wasn't a gamble. It was an investment in a quality he valued more than anything else: perseverance. In the world of college hockey, BU was and is royalty. Coached by the living legend Jack Parker, the BU Terriers were a perennial powerhouse, a factory for future NHL talent. To be recruited by Jack Parker was to be anointed. For Travis, putting on that scarlet-and-white jersey with the number 24 on the back wasn't just an achievement. It was the culmination of his entire life's work. It was a validation of every pre-dawn workout, every missed party, every single sacrifice he and his family had ever made. At 20 years old, he had arrived. He was a BU Terrier, about to step onto the ice for his very first college game, his future stretching out before him like a clean, perfect sheet of ice. October 20th, 1995. The Walter Brown Arena in Boston. The air is electric with anticipation. It's the season opener, BU versus a tough rival, the University of North Dakota. For Travis Roy, this is it. The moment he had visualized a million times on his backyard rink in Maine. His parents, Lee and Brenda, are in the stands, their hearts swelling with a pride that only a parent can truly know. They watch their son, a man now, standing on the blue line with his teammates, ready to live his dream. The puck drops. The game begins. The first few minutes are a blur of fast-paced action. Travis waits on the bench, his heart pounding. Then he hears his name called. Coach Parker is sending him out. Travis jumps over the boards for his first ever collegiate shift. He's buzzing with adrenaline, a mix of nerves and pure joy. He skates hard, his legs feeling fresh and powerful. He chases a loose puck into the corner of the rink. He angles his body to deliver a check to an opposing player who is trying to gain possession. It's a routine hockey play. A fundamental act of the game he has performed thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of times since he was a small boy. It's a moment of muscle memory, of pure instinct. But in this single, fateful instant, the universe conspires against him. The opponent, seeing the check coming, shifts his body slightly at the last second. Travis, already committed and off balance, loses his edge. His momentum, fast and unstoppable, carries him forward at a horribly awkward angle. Time seems to slow down. His head dips. He is no longer in control. He crashes headfirst into the solid plexiglass boards. It doesn't make a loud sound, not a boom, but a sickeningly quiet crack. A sound of bone and destiny breaking at once. He crumples to the ice. He doesn't move. At first, the 3,000 fans in the arena think it's just a hard hit, a player getting his bell rung. But the seconds tick by, 5 seconds, 7, 10. He doesn't get up. A chilling, unnatural silence begins to fall over the arena. The roar of the crowd fades into a collective, anxious hush. His teammates skate over, leaning down, their words of encouragement dying in their throats when they see his vacant stare. The trainers rush onto the ice. Coach Jack Parker, a man who had seen everything in his long career, walks out onto the ice, his face etched with a concern that quickly turns to sheer dread. Jack Parker had coached hockey teams for decades. He had seen broken bones, deep cuts, and knockouts. But this time, there was something different. As he stepped closer, he saw Travis's eyes. It wasn't a look of pain, but of emptiness, a terrifying disconnect between mind and body. The face of a man who had seen it all in his career went blank. He knelt down beside Travis, trying to keep his voice steady but unable to hide the tremor. "It's okay, son. Just lie still. We're coming to help you." In that moment, he was no longer a legendary coach. He was just an old man, looking at his son, paralyzed with horror. Travis is conscious. He can see the worried faces of his teammates above him. He can hear the concerned voice of his coach, but he cannot feel anything. Nothing below his neck. Lying on the ice, paralyzed, the first thought that went through his mind was not, "Am I going to be okay?" It was not, "Will I walk again?" It was something that revealed the very core of his character. As he would later recount, his first thought was, "Oh my God, Dad, I'm sorry." In that instant, lying on the cold ice, he wasn't thinking about himself. He was thinking about his father in the stands. He was thinking about the dream they had built together, and how, in one fleeting moment, it had just been shattered. He knew. In that instant, he knew his life, the one he had so meticulously and passionately built, was over. He had been on the ice as a Boston University Terrier for just 11 seconds. The diagnosis was a catastrophe, the worst-case scenario. Travis had fractured his 4th and 5th cervical vertebrae. The damage to his spinal cord was immediate and irreversible. He was a quadriplegic, completely paralyzed from the neck down. The days and weeks that followed were a living nightmare. He was in a haze of surgeries, of pain, and of the unbearable weight of his new reality. The intensive care unit, ICU, became his entire world. A world that consisted only of the white ceiling, the constant beeping of machines, and the rhythmic hiss of the ventilator that was doing the work his own lungs could not. From a top-tier athlete, an absolute master of his own body, he had become completely dependent. He could not eat on his own, could not drink on his own. Worse, he had to endure the small tortures that an able-bodied person never thinks about. It was the itch on the tip of his nose that he was powerless to scratch. It was a fly landing on his cheek that he could only stare at in helpless fury. It was the sudden, painful muscle spasms that racked his body without his control. Every moment was a cruel reminder of his own powerlessness. But the physical battle was nothing compared to the psychological war. He had become a prisoner in his own body. The body that had been his pride and the tool for his dream was now a prison made of flesh and bone. The nights were when the battle was most fierce. When the hustle of the hospital quieted down, when his exhausted parents had fallen asleep in the chair beside him, Travis had to face the darkness alone. The thoughts would rush in. Is this my life now? From now until I die? Am I just going to stare at this ceiling? I was an athlete. What now? I can't even breathe on my own. There were times, he would later admit, when he wanted everything to just stop. He thought about giving up. The despair was so profound it could have swallowed him whole. But then, from the depths of that darkness, a tiny spark began to glow. It was that same quiet determination that had defined him as a person. It wasn't a miracle, but a conscious, grueling choice made in every second, every minute, every day. And the first turning point, the moment that showed the world the true character of Travis Roy, came just a few weeks after the accident. While he was still in the ICU, unable to speak because of the tracheotomy tube, unable to move, he began trying to communicate with his father. He stared intently at Lee and blinked his eyes repeatedly, urgently. Lee, his heart shattered with worry, rushed to his side. "What is it, son? Are you in pain? Do you need the nurse? Are you having trouble breathing?" He ran through a list of physical needs. Travis, with all his strength, continued to blink desperately. "Number. It's not any of those things." The frustration was visible in the eyes of both father and son. Finally, with immense effort, Travis mouthed a word, almost silently. "Play. It was then that Lee understood his son wasn't talking about physical pain. He started guessing. "Do you want to know about the game?" Travis blinked. "Number, do you want to know about your teammates?" "No." Finally, with a heavy heart, Lee asked, Do you want to know about the other player? The player from North Dakota?" Travis blinked once, hard and definite. "Yes." Lee's heart sank. He feared his son was looking for someone to blame, to direct his anger at. But when he looked into Travis's eyes, he saw no anger. Instead, through a painstaking effort of communication with the help of a nurse, Travis's message slowly became clear. "Tell him, it wasn't his fault. I hold no ill will." In that moment, the ICU room was overcome with a profound silence. His parents looked at each other, stunned. In the middle of his own personal hell, their son wasn't thinking about himself. He was worrying about the feelings of someone else. That was the first moment the hockey player Travis Roy vanished, and the hero Travis Roy began to be born. The light of the great man he was about to become had shone through for the first time from within the ashes. After months of intensive, painful rehabilitation, he made a promise to himself and to his family. He would not be defined by his injury. He would return to Boston University. And in the fall of 1996, less than a year after his accident, he did. He attended classes in his motorized wheelchair, which he controlled with a puff-and-sip joystick, navigating the very campus that was supposed to have been his hockey sanctuary. It was an act of immense courage. He graduated with a degree in communications 4 years later, rolling across the stage to a thunderous standing ovation. It was a monumental achievement that signaled to the world that his life was not over. It was just beginning its second and far more important act. This second act would become his true life's work. The outpouring of love and support after his injury was immense. Letters and donations poured in from all over the world. Travis and his family quickly realized that this wave of compassion needed to be channeled into something positive, something lasting. In 1997, the Travis Roy Foundation was born. The foundation had a clear two-part mission. Half of the funds would go towards research, searching for a cure. The other half would provide quality of life, grants to help survivors with adaptive equipment. These grants provided adaptive equipment for other spinal cord injury survivors, things like custom wheelchairs that meant freedom, voice-activated computers that opened up the world, and simple ramps that allowed a person to enter their own home with dignity. He crisscrossed the country not as a figure of tragedy, but as a powerful and sought-after motivational speaker. He shared his message of perspective, of setting small, achievable goals, and finding strength in adversity. He transformed his immense personal pain into a powerful public purpose. This new life, built on empathy and a relentless drive to empower others, became his true calling. For 25 years, Travis Roy lived his second act with grace and purpose. He far outlived his initial prognosis, a testament to his sheer will, but the physical toll of his injury was a constant grinding battle. On October 29, 2020, Travis Roy passed away at the age of 45. His death was not sudden like his injury. It was due to complications from a necessary medical procedure, a final, lingering consequence of that single moment on the ice a quarter-century earlier. The news of his death sent a profound wave of grief far beyond the hockey world. Tributes poured in from former teammates, NHL stars, politicians, and the thousands of people whose lives he had touched through his foundation and his speeches. Boston University called him the epitome of inspiration and courage. His old coach, Jack Parker, who had been by his side on the ice that fateful day and had remained a father figure throughout his life, spoke of him as a son. Their relationship didn't end after those 11 fateful seconds. On the contrary, it grew deeper. Jack Parker was a regular at Travis's bedside during his darkest days. When the Travis Roy Foundation was founded, Parker was one of the first to join the board and became a tireless fundraiser, using his legendary clout to advocate for Travis's cause. For 25 years, Parker was there for every major milestone in Travis's second life. Graduations, foundation events, Travis's health struggles. To Jack Parker, Travis Roy never left his team. He just transitioned from being a player on the ice to something else, something much bigger. Their friendship is a testament to the fact that hockey is more than just a game. It's a family. His work, however, did not end with his death. The Travis Roy Foundation continues its mission today, a perpetual engine of hope powered by his memory. His story redefined the meaning of a successful life. He showed that a life can be measured not by what you achieve for yourself, but by the barriers you break down for others. In the end, Travis Roy lived two lives. The first life was 20 years long, a life of relentless focus on a singular, passionate dream: to be a great hockey player. That life ended in 11 seconds. The second life was 25 years long, a life of profound purpose and service, born directly from the ashes of that shattered dream. Which life was more successful? Which life had a greater impact on the world? The answer seems obvious. His story is the ultimate paradox of tragedy and triumph. 11 seconds of catastrophic loss gave birth to 25 years of inspirational gain for thousands of people. It is a powerful, if painful, reminder that our lives are not defined by the moments that break us, but by what we choose to build in the broken places. Travis Roy never scored a goal for Boston University. He never lifted a trophy or played in the NHL, but he achieved something far greater. He taught us about resilience, about perspective, and about the incredible, unbreakable strength of the human heart. His legacy is not the tragedy of 11 seconds, but the triumph of every single second that followed.